Welcome to the first session of the module, Cloud Strategy and Administration. In this session, we will learn about the pros and cons of building and buying cloud and economics of a cloud model. Today, many organizations are gaining from cloud computing. They are primarily gaining because they do not have to invest in additional hardware, software, and databases which are required during peak loads. However, cloud solutions may not be beneficial in all situations. As a cloud administrator, you need to analyze and consider various factors before applying cloud-based services as a solution to business problems. A key decision in cloud strategy is how you will implement it. Will it be built from the existing components and managed in-house, or will it be bought as a service from a provider? For a private cloud, both are valid models. Early in the strategy process, you need to consider whether to buy cloud or build it. Let's discuss these factors. If you want to evaluate options to buy your private cloud as a service from a provider, you should consider Service Level Agreement, or SLA, service credits, disaster recovery, and cost structure. Let's discuss these considerations in detail. An SLA is a document between a service user and a service provider that defines uptime, availability, and performance. Service providers typically express the availability levels in terms of an availability percentage. Most of them offer an SLA that excludes scheduled downtime. This table shows how those percentage figures break into periods of unplanned downtime during a month and a year. It is useful to ask what commitments the service provider is able to make during that maintenance window. Next, we will discuss using service credits when building or buying a cloud service. To consider service credit conditions, you can ask, what are your chances of getting some compensation if the provider is unable to deliver the SLA you have signed up for? How will terms of performance or availability commitments be monitored and reported? Are they expecting you to do this, or will they provide this reporting to you? Once the service credit conditions are defined, let's explore how to plan for disaster recovery and manage the cost structure of a cloud service. You should understand the scope of the disaster recovery services being offered, or not, by your chosen provider. Also know the boundaries of the service. You should understand how and when you are being monitored for usage, and whether the service provider is measuring peak, average, or a fixed allocation of resources over a fixed period. Next, we will discuss the pros and cons of buying a cloud service. If you buy a cloud service, you will receive a ready-made, well-researched solution with fewer bugs. You will also receive expert support and training, flexibility, adaptability, and typically more functionalities. The drawbacks are that your vendor will retain rights to the code, determine the product functionality, and resolve issues through its technical support. If you opt to build a cloud service, you should consider whether to greenfield or re-engineer, hardware platform, data center facilities, and virtual or physical servers. Let's discuss all of these considerations briefly. Greenfielding is the process of beginning a project from scratch, ignoring all the previous setups. Your organization is likely to have a large data center infrastructure, which will be a mix of network, storage, and computing infrastructure that you may have acquired over a period. Various elements of that existing infrastructure will be at various stages of their lifecycle, making management as a single unit difficult. You will need to choose a hardware platform for each of the stacks within your solution. Unless you plan on buying massive amounts of infrastructure up front, it makes sense to purchase an infrastructure that can be scaled in a modular fashion. Because you will be deploying your cloud platform on a new infrastructure, ensure that you have the physical space and power and cooling capacity to host it. It is likely you will need to run it alongside your current state infrastructure for some time, that is, until you can migrate everything into your private cloud. As part of your design to provide agility and elasticity, you may consider consolidated technologies such as blade servers and converged I/O for your networking and storage traffic. Virtualization is a useful tool and enabling more flexible infrastructure. Although virtualization is almost a given for most cloud computing solutions, it is important to realize that the two are not mutually exclusive. There are ways of maintaining a hybrid physical or virtual solution within a cloud computing solution. Next, we will understand the pros and cons of building a cloud service. If you build a cloud service, you will have complete control and ownership of the cloud service that will be tailored to your unique business needs. However, the development time will be long. There will be extensive training and support. There is also a validation process for regulated organizations to build a cloud service. This validation process includes installation qualification, operational qualification, and performance qualification. Having discussed the pros and cons of building and buying cloud, let's move on to the economics of a cloud model.